This is Black Politics 101, and I wanted to do a little bit of a different video today. And I wanted to do a what if scenario and what would happen if Biden were to win the election and how that would possibly be in the different scenarios. Now, we know this Trump and Biden election is as close as you can get to 50-50. But I really wanted to go into the different avenues and different chances Biden has to win the election from least likely to most likely. So, from least likely to most likely, there's a whole ranging of states, 6 states that he could possibly win. And I'm going to start it off with possibly 7, but we'll get into it a bit more. But there's a whole 6 major swing states and possibly 7 if you include North Carolina. But Biden has a chance to win the election. Now, the polls may not be showing that. The polls may be showing it's 55-45 Trump, but the polls have gone wrong. They got 2016 wrong, they had 2020 wrong in different ways, more favoring Trump in both those avenues. But in 2022, we all know how that election went, where Republicans were supposed to win massive and they barely won the House and didn't win the Senate, which was the biggest travesty I have seen being more conservative in a while. But let's get started. The least likely scenario of him winning is that he literally just wins every single state. He wins all of these by safe margins. Any other state, they would be thinking of even Florida at this point. Like, this is like by far the least likely. We might as well add Texas. Like, this ain't happening. I'm just gonna be honest. This ain't happening. This is the least. I can't even preface that even more. Least likely. He ain't doing a Ronald Reagan before a Democrat. Let's just be real. Now, let's get into more actual scenarios of what might happen. This is a scenario that might happen. Texas goes by likely margin, Florida goes by likely margin, and Alaska goes by likely margin. But he wins these states by tilt to lean. That is like it could happen. It could happen. North Carolina is the only thing making me wary because it hasn't gone to a Democrat since 2008 with Barack Obama. But we are going from least likely to most likely. And this, from an actual scenario, the Texas and Florida thing was a joke. But in the actual scenario, this is probably the least likely. But if Biden were to overperform the polls by, like, let's say 4 points, 5 points, he's getting to the margin where North Carolina could be competitive and he could win. But the other scenarios where he loses North Carolina but still wins election in Wisconsin, Georgia. And if he were to lose North Carolina, Georgia's been basically the same in voting, around the same in the polling. Now, the polling has gotten it wrong, but in polling, North Carolina and Georgia have been very, very similar this cycle. Maybe not other cycles because it's been quite a difference where North Carolina's 1 to 2 points more Republican than Georgia. But this election, they've been very, very close. So this would be another scenario where Biden could win. He would win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona. That is another likely shot. Now, if we're going down from the polling states where he's doing the best, worst, it would next be Wisconsin. He would still, which this is, this would be an insane scenario where Trump wins Wisconsin and Georgia and all the other states, but he loses the election. Like, I almost can't that's why we're going from least likely to most likely. I almost can't see him losing Georgia and winning Wisconsin and not just winning the whole entire Rust Belt. So another possible scenario would be him winning Pennsylvania, Trump winning Pennsylvania and winning the part of the Rust Belt, but losing Georgia. That would put him under. Now, this is going into one of the most likely scenarios, and I can't preface this enough. This is just a scenario. Georgia, the polling shows it's 5 to 6 points Republican this cycle. But for some reason, Georgia has proved us wrong so many times where I just think I just give it to Democrats almost at this point. And this is probably the most likely scenario where he wins Michigan, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona, but loses Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. I just have to put it at this scenario. And then another possible scenario he could be would be Trump wins Nevada, but Biden wins. Wait. He wins. Uh, Trump wins Nevada, but Trump loses Pennsylvania. This is, I think, another scenario where Wisconsin is the most Republican state in the Rust Belt, and Nevada in the West Coast is also one of the most Republican swing states compared to Arizona. But he would lose Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Now, this is another scenario where I think it could happen. I could see him winning Nevada. I think Nevada's been going 6 to 7 points in the polling to the Republicans also. So I think this is also another scenario. And then I think one of the most likely scenarios where Biden wins is it comes back to this one where Trump went to Wisconsin, Georgia, and Nevada, and North Carolina. Biden still wins. Now, you know, a certain electorate of the Republican Party will say this is rigged, this is insane, you can't do this. But I have to give this as one of the most likely scenario of Biden winning the election would be him winning Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona and squeaking by and winning the election. Now that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna have another video up probably by tomorrow on the most likely scenarios for Trump to win the election. But that's gonna be it for me. This is Black Politics 101. Like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.